Yo, what's going on, dudes? HKTitan here with a brand new video for you guys, and in today's video, I'm going to be covering everything that you guys need to know about the brand new 39.0 update. So, I'm sure you guys already know as we have the map editor that is going to cost 6,000 monkey money. Now, I'm not going to cover too much with the map editor because I already covered it in a previous video, so we're just going to cover everything else that came with the 39.0 update because there was so much that was hidden underneath the map editor. So, after the map editor, we also got a brand new Azalea skin that is absolutely crazy cool. I actually love this skin. I think I may have just found my new favorite skin. And then after the brand new skin, we also got a new challenge, which is Grow Less in Galaxy. I think I'm going to give this a try. If it seems like it's tough, I'll upload a video or how-to guide on how to do it. But for the most part, it doesn't seem too bad. Then after the challenge, we also got a brand new advanced map, which I need to go ahead and beat this. I also need to beat Erosion because I still haven't beaten this map. Like, I haven't even played it yet. So that's something that I have on my to-do list as well. The next thing we'll cover is a couple of tower changes. The first change that really made a massive difference for me is going to be the double crossbow master with the Apex Plasma Master. You guys will no longer get that bonus Paragon degree. So if you guys are trying to get like a Paragon degree 31 on your Apex Plasma Master, you guys will no longer be able to get the Paragon degree 31 by just buying the double crossbow master. On top of that, they also changed the price of the Apex down to $127,000. Now with this, the Paragon did end up getting a little bit of a nerf, but it's not too bad. I don't think it's going to make a massive change. The only big change with this, again, is not being able to get that Paragon degree 31. On top of that, you guys just saw it. What this is you guys can actually contribute cash into upgrading your Paragon. So you no longer need to like guess how much money you have spent on your Paragon. You guys can actually use this slider here to increase the Paragon degree instead of like sacrificing a bunch of towers. So as you guys can see, our Paragon degree is 47 after sacrificing a bunch of money, which this is actually going to be crazy cool. It's going to be so much easier to get a higher Paragon degree from this point on. So the next thing that Ninja Kiwi fixed is they fixed the total transformation bug. You guys will no longer be able to link your towers. So unfortunately, if you guys are trying to do the bug from this point on, you guys will need to install mods and install the quantum entanglement mod in order to use the bug. So the first tower that ended up getting a little bit of a buff and a nerf is the middle pathway tier 4 ice monkey. Now the snowstorm is going to cost around $3,610 in medium mode, and the absolute zero ended up getting a price buff because now the absolute zero is actually a little bit cheaper. So the next tower that ended up getting a little bit of a buff and a nerf is going to be the middle pathway glue gunner. Now the amount of layers that the glue gunner will affect is reduced from 6 to 3 for the tier 4, and for the tier 5 it's reduced from 9 to 3 as well. In order for your glue gunner to affect more layers, you guys will need to upgrade to the top pathway. Then the amount of layers that the glue gunner will affect changes from 3 to infinite. The next tower that got a buff is going to be the monkey sub, more specifically the preemptive strike. The preemptive strike actually had a price reduction, which is going to make it much more affordable. So the next tower that got a little bit of a rework is the mortar monkey. So the mortar monkey actually got a pretty nice buff. It actually doubled its damage for the 000. So that means that we can actually start off by using the mortar monkey if we can actually afford it in like some of the harder game mode. On top of that, not only did the mortar monkey get a buff, but also Striker Jones got a little bit of a rework. Now, Striker Jones has a third ability that he unlocks at level 7, which is actually pretty cool. This is something that I've wanted in Bloons for a long time. When we activate his new ability, we can actually control where the mortars are hitting for 15 seconds. This is actually crazy. I'm still a little bit upset that we can't manually control them, but this is definitely a massive bust for the mortar monkey. This is going to make some of the game modes a lot easier. Moving on, the middle pathway Hydra rocket pods as well as the rocket storm ended up getting some price changes. The Hydra rocket pods were reduced from $5,100 to $4,800, and the rocket storm was changed from $5,200 up to $5,500. Still, the next tower that got a little bit of a price change is going to be the middle pathway wall of fire. So the middle pathway wall of fire ended up being changed from $950 down to $800, which is a massive change. This is going to make wall of fire more affordable. And then on top of that, the amount of time that the wall of fire will stay on the screen is actually increased, when you upgrade the Wizard Monkey up to the top pathway. So the next tower that got a little bit of a change is going to be the 140 Wizard Monkey. Now when you activate the Phoenix ability, the fireballs should actually seek out the balloons, kind of similar to the way that the Infernal Ring works. And again, with the Wizard Monkey, the Wizard Lord Phoenix got a price decrease from $52,500 down to $50,000, again making him more affordable. Next, there have been a couple of changes with the Wizard Monkey upgraded to the Shimmer, Necromancer, as well as the Prince of Darkness. Now Shimmer's range, I believe, was a decrease from 80 to 60, and then the Prince of Darkness actually had his range increased. So if I'm not mistaken, I think this is what the Prince of Darkness's range used to be way back in the day. So the next tower that got a rework is going to be the Middle Pathway Druid Monkey. Now, every time you gain a life past the starting value, so now that we have like 153 lives, now our Druid Monkey is going to have increased Pierce, and this will stack up to 100%. So every life that you gain past like 150 lives in medium mode will give you an extra increase to Pierce. So after we reach 250 lives in medium mode, the amount of Pierce that our Druid has will hypothetically be doubled. The next tower that ended up getting a little bit of a rework is going to be Jungle's Bounty. Now, at the end of every round, every Jungle's Bounty that you have on the screen will generate +1 lives. The next tower that got a little bit of a change is going to be the Ball of Lightning Druid. Now, the Ball of Lightning Druid will actually freeze balloons whenever they're struck by its lightning, if they don't pop it, of course. So the next tower that had a big buff is going to be the Moab Shredder. The damage for the Moab Shredder has been increased from 4 all the way up to 9. And of course, that is only against Moab balloon. And not only has the Moab Shredder's damage been increased, but also the Spike Storm's damage has been increased as well, from 4 to 9 as well. And guess what, guys? Not only did the tier 3 and tier 4 get buffed, but also the Carpenter Spikes also got buffed as well. The Moab damage on the Carpenter Spikes has been increased from 5 all the way up till 9. So the Carpenter Spikes is going to be absolutely insanely good now, at least against Moab balloon. The next tower that had a little bit of a price change is going to be the Triple XL Trap. So the Triple XL Trap had a massive price reduction from $54,000 all the way down to $48,000, which I'm actually excited because I actually really like the balloon trap. So now I think I can actually come up with a couple of really cool strategies for the Triple XL Trap in Chimps. So the next tower that ended up getting a lot of balance changes is going to be the Beast Handler. So the first thing is the Pierce for the top pathway Beast Handler has been increased for the Great White, as well as the tier 4 Orca also got a increase in Pierce. The middle pathway Beast Handler also got a buff as well. It ended up getting a attack increase. So I believe that the middle pathway Beast Handler actually attacks faster now, as well as the Giga can now see over obstacles. The bottom pathway Beast Handler also got a nerf to the tier 2, the tier 4, as well as the tier 5. And as far as I can see, all of the nerfs are for Pierce, as well as there's a little bit of a damage decrease for the tier 5 Wacky. So there's a lot of changes with the Beast Handler. You're gonna have to play around to see just how much the Beast Handler has actually changed. The next tower that had a little bit of a nerf is going to be Gwendolyn. So the Pierce for Gwendolyn's Cocktail of Fire has actually been decreased for the level 3, and the Pierce has been increased for level 7. Next, the base damage for Gwendolyn's level 6 and level 9 has been reduced from a 2 to 1 for level 6 and 4 to 2 for level 9. Next, I'm going to be talking about Geraldo, because Geraldo actually had a really good change, and that is with the Paragon totems. Now with the Paragon totems, you can keep track of how many totems you have placed, because above the totems will now show how many Paragon totems you actually have placed, so you don't lose track on how many Paragon totems you actually have. And this is something that should have been in the game for a really long time, but I'm glad that Ninja Kiwi finally added to the game. Now, the next thing I'm going to cover is going to be the Paragons, because a lot of the Paragons actually got a pretty big rework. So the first thing with the Paragons is the boss damage multiplier for Paragons. So now, before, we would get a 20% increase to boss balloons for every 20 degrees on our Paragons, and that has been increased from 20% all the way up to 25% every 20 degrees. Next, of course, is going to be the other change with the Paragons, and that is, of course, spending your actual cash in-game in order to upgrade your Paragon. And of course, I already brought this up with the Apex Plasma Master. Now, if you sacrifice the double Crossbow Master as well as the other two tier 5s, Instead of being Paragon degree 31, it's going to be Paragon degree 22. Moving on to the Glaive Dominus. So the Glaive Dominus ended up getting a massive price reduction from $350,000 all the way down to $275,000. Also with the Glaive Dominus, the range for the Glaive Dominus ended up being reduced from 75 to 60, and on top of that, its damage was also nerfed as well up against boss balloons. Next is going to be the Navarch of the Seas. The attack speed for the Navarch of the Seas ended up being nerfed, not by too much, but it will be a little bit of a change, so this is technically a nerf for the Navarch of the Seas. Next is going to be the Goliath Doom Ship. The cooldown for the Goliath Doom Ship ended up getting a little bit of a nerf. Instead of being 40 seconds, it has been increased all the way up to 45 seconds. Moving on to the next Paragon, the Magnus Perfectus. So the Magnus Perfectus actually got quite a few buffs. So the first buff is going to be with the sub-zombie projectile pierce is increased from 20 to 50. The Drain Beam, which I believe is this ability right here, its damage has been increased from 50 to 200, which is actually kind of nuts. Next is going to be the Dark Phoenix Firebomb attack, and now deals a bonus damage to bosses, and it adds a plus 50 damage up against bosses. Actually mix that up a little bit. This is going to be the beam damage here, and this is going to be a flamethrower ability, and the flamethrower ability actually had a massive buff as well. Its pierce has been increased from 30 to 100, and its boss attack damage is increased from 500 to 1,000. So I think we may have a new king of the castle with the Magnus Perfectus, because it sounds like he's an absolute Chad now. And I believe that's all the changes with the brand new 39.0 update. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments below, because I just like to breeze through all of the patch notes. There was a lot that came out in this update. And just a couple of things to look forward in the 40.0 update is going to be a brand new hero, the Spirit Walker, as well as the Monkey Sub Paragon. And on top of that, we're going to be getting boss challenges. So with all these changes to like Paragons and all of that other fun stuff, I'm really interested to see what's going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks, especially with boss balloons. But anyways, dudes, that's gonna do it for the video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you guys hit that like button, and I'll see you dudes in the next one.